Scottish Premiership Play-offs final. Partick Thistle versus St Mirren.
And and it's half time, or well, it's full time, but you get what I mean. Half time on the tie, and it's Desmond is Partick Thistle 1, St Mirren 1. Just looking at the shots and goal actually before we come on here. St Mirren had 15, Partick Thistle 12. It didn't seem that kind of game, but anyway. The game fund was 1-8, joined by Robbie Collins. Graham Duffy will be joining us to look back in that, 94 minutes tonight. We'll get a quick chat before we went on air. Robbie, what did you take away tonight?
I mean, first of all, we're joined by my assistant manager, Wee Mirren, in the corner as well. You can see her behind my shoulder, so nice to always be joined by her. But no, to be honest with you, mate, I'm really disappointed in the way we played. I think there was opportunities in the first half, especially to take Thistle. I thought they were very open in the midfield area, and I just don't think we threatened that enough. They were also very open down our right-hand side, their left, with Richard King. I thought there was so many opportunities we could have had down his side. And the more Thistle grew into the game, the more confident they got. Some of the chances, I mean, we touched on it, Michael, before we came on. That Ashcroft head in the first half, what an absolute gem of a chance that is for Thistle to go and take advantage of a shaky St Mirren defence. I thought we were really poor at the back at times. Ross Sinclair had a couple, which I've given him a lot of praise in recent weeks because I actually think he's been quite good and not been able to do much, but he's had a few shaky moments tonight. So is, to be fair, most of the defence. I don't think MD was spectacular. I thought Gogic was probably my pick at the defence, to be honest with you. Freckleton done alright as well, but I thought as the first half went on, we sort of controlled it the first 30 minutes, then you sort of seen gradually Thistle started building into it. You've obviously got that header I spoke about, you've got the Tony Watt chance on the left footer that I thought he maybe could have took one more touch and tried to drill it into the corner, but I was really deflated with the second half performance. The only couple of positives I took is I thought Scott Tanser, who I gave a bit of criticism to pre-match, actually done quite well. And wannabe Neymar, Roland Adoba, who came on the pitch in the second half, I thought he actually looked alright as well. He was probably the danger man for us. But look, it's just one of them where I said one each before the match, please gamble responsibly, but I should have put money on it because I was right. And I were shame up to be an absolutely immense game in Paisley, but I can't help but feel that if Thistle took their chances, which they probably should have done, it could be a different game we're on talking about, but I am happy enough for the draw.
What about you? Did you take away anything tonight?
I thought it was a decent battle. You know, I said about Partick leaving everyone out on the park, and I thought St Mirren did the same thing. It was quite an interesting battle. You know, I think St Mirren will be happier going away from home, getting a draw back home on Monday night. They'll probably take a lot more from that. But I think for Partick Thistle, they'll be gutted at the chances they missed. You know, if you get chances like that in a big game like that, you've got to take them. And the chances they missed in that first half looked like it was going to go back to haunt them. You look at the chance that Alex Samuel had from a poor header back from Richard King. Samuel just takes a really poor touch, but I think he probably should do better. The Tony Watt chance for me is massive. I know you just talked about Ashcroft's header. That Tony Watt chance is huge. He's got to take that further in, and he should be burying that. It's a poor effort for me. It's very tame. And at that point, you think, Partick are going to regret this. I mean, what a finish. Outside of the foot from Phillips, it's a fantastic finish. And again, I thought he was pretty decent. And then second half, again, I thought Thistle really went for it. Great play from Tony Watt down the right. Lovely pullback, and Fitzpatrick scores. And you thought, can Partick go and get that goal? Can they kill this game? Well, not kill the game off tonight, but can they go and get a second goal to take away? They just couldn't quite find that breakthrough. But, I mean, Robbie talked about him there. Adobu's second half, he's a box of tricks. He was very good when he came on. He just couldn't quite find that bit of a cutting edge, though. And I think there was a chance as well in the second half. I think it was down that left-hand side. I can't remember who it was that plays the ball across. I think it might be Fitzpatrick. Plays the ball across. It's a brilliant ball in, and nobody gambles on it. You know, if you gamble, you've got a tap in there. And I'd be raging if I'm the white player that's done all that work and you've not taken the chance. So, yeah, big moments for Partick Thistle. But, I mean, St Mirren, I thought they showed some decent signs during the game, but they just didn't create enough. And that'll be a big worry going home on Monday, But they're at home. They got the advantage. But yeah, I think McLeish will be the happier manager getting out there with a draw to take back home.
I thought,
Sorry, Robbie.
no, you're all good. I was just going to say, I thought, Graham, I don't know about you, but I thought actually to give McLeish, and no just McLeish, but the backroom team a bit of stick. I don't think they handled the game management very well. I thought when Thistle made that sub at half time and brought on Lasosa, who I spoke about pre-show, a very good creative player in the middle, we never adapted to that at all until we sort of brought Adobo on, and that's when we started getting a bit more attacking. But for that sort of first chunk of second half, I don't know what you thought, but I thought the way we handled it was very poor at times, to be honest.
Yeah, I hadn't actually seen that Sosa guy play, but it was quite impressive. I thought he looked very lively second half when he came on. Always looking to try and get the ball, always trying to get the ball forward. I think he actually put a part in the goal as well. So yeah, I thought he was really good. But, you know, Adobe's got something about him. I'll be surprised if he doesn't start on Monday, because I thought he looked a real threat. I know you talked about St Mirren defensively. I actually did think Gogic was good. You know, him and Alex Samuel, that was a great battle tonight. I think Gogic came out on top of that. But I tell you what, Samuel gave him a lot of difficult moments. So yeah, it was a very intriguing battle. But I'm sure that Craig McLeish will have learned lessons from this first game to take into that second leg.
I'm just watching that replay, Robbie, of the Askov header. I don't know why he headed it down the way for.
I know, anywhere towards the goal, and it's getting in. It's as simple as that. It's a free header. It's a brilliant ball, and that's an opportunity that if I was a Thistle fan, or that happened to us, I'd be fuming that he's missed that type of chance, especially with the way the game was going. You know, Thistle really could have taken advantage of our poor defending at points and probably punished us for quite a lot of it. It was nice to see Samuel get a award for the best Olympic dives I've ever seen in a game. I mean, that guy seriously gets done every single second he gets in contact near him. I've never seen anything like it. But look, we got lucky because Thistle really could have punished us tonight. If it was a different story, a different night, we're on here talking about a 2 or 3-1 Thistle game and a completely different outlook for Monday night. So, aye, Michael, I think you said it. McLeish will be the happier the manager, but there's a lot of lessons he needs to learn before Monday. And look, this tie's no air. I've seen a few people say, "Oh, that's a brilliant result for us getting the home leg," and it is. But Thistle, again, that revenge of coming to Paisley in the cup and losing, it'll be feasting right on them.
Just looking at the goal again, Graham, about Fitzpatrick. I mean, the cross from Tony, the ball over from Tony Watt was brilliant. But that time, I think it was 62 minutes in the game. He may get look easy, Fitzpatrick, in the goal, but there would have been a lot of pressure on him to score that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players might have slashed at that or smashed it over the bar. I've seen that numerous times, but he kept it down, did the right thing, kept it low and hard. It's a very good finish, but fair play to Tony Watt. He does very well because he's under pressure, and he does very well to dig a cross out from there, because it's not the easiest of crosses to dig out, and he does very, very well. Again, you probably question the defender from St Mirren in that position, but you've got to, I always think you credit the attackers in that position, and fair play to Fitzpatrick. He's at the back post, unmarked, and it's a very, very good finish, because it would have been very easy to hammer that over the bar or put it wide. So he does very well with that.
I think that was a really good finish and really good feet work for Tony Watt. I think you can take a lot of similarities with our goal. You know, you look at the feet work for Mikael Mandron in the attacking area, plays a lovely ball into Phillips, and what an absolute extraordinary finish on the Travella from Phillips. It was something I've not seen him do much, to be honest with you, in his whole playing career, but he took it so well. And it's pure similarities when you actually know, obviously, the ball in for Tony Watt and Mandron, but you look at the feet work for both, and the sort of both in that area making it difficult for defenders. It's what I want to see more of for Mandron going into Monday night, because we're going into trouble. Partick Thistle, like, they're going to come and get everything they've got. We need to get goals now. Like, they're going to know they can leave everything out in the pitch. We know the pressure's right on us now.
We talk about the first half that obviously Partick Thistle had. There's a really big moment in the second half before Thistle score, where Mikael Mandron's got a big chance to make it 2-0. He does a lot of really good work, busts his way forward, and again, a bit like Tony Watt, I think he's got to do better. There's a bit of pressure, but he can take that ball and he's quick enough. And I think he probably should do better with that finish. It's very tame. If that goes 2-0, it could be a different game just before Partick Thistle equalise.
And this is why I was saying to you, Robbie, as well, that This is why it should be a one-off game, not two legs, because the supporters wouldn't be able to sleep between now and Monday night, kind of like on the game. But I mean, Graham's right. I mean, it was a game of two halves because I mean, I thought St Mirren started well in the game.
I thought we started well. I definitely think we done well with possession, but if you're looking at pure chances, I probably would have gave Thistle both halves, to be honest with you. But I definitely, I'm not looking at it for a negative point. I definitely took a lot of positives, but it just felt so disappointing that when we got that goal, there was a real chance to push on, a real chance to go on and try and get more goals and really put the pressure on Thistle. Because as Graham mentioned, the second goal kills all momentum for Thistle. And we are on here talking about a different game. If it was a one-legged game, Michael, I'm probably hiding in my bed sheets now, to be honest, watching extra time. So I'm probably glad it's no a one-legged. But you're right. It's the nerves are even more real now for Monday night. Obviously, I said one each before the show. I would have took that. I probably would have took it based on the way the game went. I mean, I said 2 or 3, to be honest. If Thistle took every big chance that they had, you're probably talking about a 3 or 4 Thistle game, to be honest with you. That's just the type of chances they had. I mean, I don't know about you, Graham. If you get that chance for Hearts, I mean, you're fuming if guys don't finish the type of chances. Like if it's Frankie Kent on that header or Shankland in front of goal, that's some proper big chances and big moments.
Yeah, and I think in a game like that, something that means so much, you've got to be taking those. I mean, the Ashcroft header, he'll be raging at himself when he goes to bed tonight. He'll be thinking about that over and over again, especially if especially the part that don't go through. That's such a big chance. I mean, he's on his own. He's completely unmarked. He's a big guy. You've got to get on target. It's such a poor header, and they mentioned it during commentary. And then, the other chance as well. There were big chances for Partick tonight. You've got to be taking that. And the Mandron one as well, like I said, I think he's got to do better there. You've got to take that in. You've got a big opportunity there. And this is why I go back to the Tony Watt chance. That was such a big opportunity. He's got so much time and space. I don't think he knows how much time he's actually got. He can take that in a bit further and finish it. And in the end, it's such a tame effort. Same as Mickey Almandro.
I think one player, Graham, that I was actually quite impressed with, although he didn't contribute too much to the game, Luke Douglas. I thought the guy's desire to come on, he's such a young guy. He comes on such high circumstances and he just wants to drive with the ball. That's what I miss. Like, I don't feel Mandron does that enough. I think he done it a couple of times in the game. You obviously mentioned the big chance for him. But I just love a young player coming on, just showing no fear. Like, he'll pick up the ball anyway, run after anything. That's what I want to see. Although he didn't contribute too much to the game, I'm happy enough that he's actually come on and just showed absolutely no fear at all.
Yeah, and fair play to Craig McLeish. In another big game, it would have been very easy to go, nah, I'm not going to bother putting you on, but he did put him on. He's obviously worked with him. He knows what he can do. And I think you do find with young players, they do have that no fear. They go in the park, and I'm sure that Craig McLeish just said, go and play your own game. Don't show any fear. Go and do what you can do. And that's exactly what he did. And you always do find that young players will surprise you when they go in that park. They do show no fear. Unlike some of the more experienced players who might hide a little bit and not want to get involved, a young guy will go, no, give me the ball, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going. And that's what he did. And fair play to him, and fair play to McLeish for playing him in a big, big game. And again, somebody else that may actually start on Monday, a bit like a Adowu as well.
By the way, guys, we'll come back to the game in a minute, but I want to pick up this point because, as Graham knows, I like to go on a bit of a rant. It's not just Bobby. But Lee makes a good point. Thanks for watching on YouTube. He says, about the final on Sky and the BBC getting the semi-finals and the quarterfinals. Robbie, to me, it's a bit like when you're sitting in the park, right, with a bag of chips and the magpie goose comes down and hits out your hand. That's what it's like because BBC's got all the rights to the championship games. They've got the rights to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and then hold on, Sky's coming. We better move out the way now. We always like a moan about football, but we always like to talk up football as well. Now you might know, or Graham might know, St Mirren fans and Packet Thistle fans who can't afford Sky. So, they're waiting to see the highlights on BBC at 10:30 tonight. But my point is, that shouldn't be right. It should be the BBC from start to finish.
There was a lot of people, obviously, I done the watch along for the first half. There was a lot of people that were messaging in saying what's going on in the game because they can't watch it and they can't afford to watch it. And that's unfortunately the way the world is. In an ideal world, Michael, every game's free to watch anytime you want. But, that's not the world we live in, unfortunately. And these TV companies, Corey Wright's in there about the dodgy boxes. At the end of the day, they don't. No, I don't know what he's talking about. No, I pay every single subscription fee that's possible. You know what I mean? I pay for everything, but look, they're really no leaving fans with much choice these days in terms of how to watch their football. It's becoming such an issue where so many fans are getting to miss out, and especially in the high end games as well. You look at the Premier League and the prices to watch any of their games. It's hard enough to buy a ticket to actually go to the match, and wherever you're watching it for, it's just becoming utterly ridiculous. Football, we say it all the time, it's meant to be the working man's sport, and half the working men can't afford to watch a game on a weekend. It's stuff that I know it's very cliche to say, but it takes people's mind after weeks. If you're having a bad week, you're ready to go into the weekend, watch a football, and a lot of fans are getting priced out of being able to watch it.
Right, that's my moan over for tonight, Graham. But I guess I would make that point. I mean, you can have a wee moan if you want, Graham. But anyway, back on the game tonight. I mean, what Craig McLeish is getting interviewed on now. What do you think he would be saying? Because obviously I can't leak. But what do you think he would say to his players and the fans going into Monday's game? Obviously, that they've got the advantage now. They're at home.
I think, look, Craig needs to instill into these players that you need to use the home leg. This is the important leg now. This is where you need to use your fans at your stadium. You need to get, and I think the most important thing on Mondays in it, whoever scores the first goal, and I think it needs to be an early goal. If Thistle could go 1-0 up, I don't particularly think our players can handle the pressure very well, and that worries me because, look, Thistle have the ability. It was a very weakened lineup. You know the players that were missing: Ocean Smith, Ben Stanley, Fraser Taylor, the likes. They still showed they can compete, and they showed they can create a lot of good chances. So on Monday night, it's going to be, I think, first goal so crucial to the match that whoever gets that first goal probably goes on to win the game, and that's how big stakes it is. Because if we can get that first goal and kick on early on, I have every faith that we'll go and score a second or a third or go and wrap the game up. But if Thistle get that first goal, I just don't. And Graham, I don't know about you, but the defending tonight for me was a huge worry going into Monday.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how at times how very open St Mirren were, and they can't afford to do that on Monday because there's no way that St Mirren are just going to sit back and try and play for extra penalties. They will go for it because that's what Mark Wilson knows. So I think it'll be another tight game, but certainly part of Thistle will go for it. And yeah, I mean, I know you said the first goal could be crucial, but we've again seen tonight and over the last few weeks that if Partick do lose the first goal, they can still come back. So they've actually shown that quite a lot recently. But I mean, it's going to be such a tough game. I mean, Craig McLeish probably just has to say, look, you've got 90 minutes to basically save your season here. It's been an absolute disaster league-wise. And also, it's not just that, it's the folk behind the scenes as well. You go into the Championship, a lot of folk might lose their jobs on the back of this. So you're actually saving their careers and stuff as well. So it's a big game on Monday for these St Mirren players and the St Mirren staff. So that's what you've got to say, 90 minutes away from keeping people's jobs.
I couldn't agree more, Graham. There's so many amazing people that they work behind the scenes at the club and built so much of the last few years to make the club where it is. I remember the Championship days where it's like 2,000 attendances and such low numbers and barely any fans turning up and no atmosphere inside the stadium. It's been built to a point where it'd be such a shame to see it all fall off because we've just not tried hard enough for the league season. And a player I'll give credit to tonight, Scott Tanza. I thought he'd done amazing, to be honest with you. I thought he was really good, really influential in the game, looking to attack. But where's that been the last 38 games? I was saying that on my TikTok live. If he plays like that the last 38 games, we are not in this situation. We're not in 11th place come the end of the season. It's just a shame that I am happy with turning it on now at points, but where's that been this whole season? Because we've not seen it on the pitch. So it's one of them. I think your point on Luke Douglas is pretty interesting. I'd probably start him on Monday if I was Craig McLeish. Whether he's going to or no, I don't know, because it's quite a high pressured game. But I'd love to see a young boy like that play and just go, look, just run at them and see what you can do, because he can get into good areas when he tries.
In the warm-up before the game, I think Scott Tanzer had ear pause and listened to us, and he's heard Robbie going mental at him and go, I better change his opinion on me here.
Well, it'll be after Falkirk in a couple of weeks anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
For Packet Thistle for Monday night, Graham, do you think that Gary Mackay-Stevens will come into the team? The reason I'm saying that is all the games I've seen this season, he's always came on for about 2 minutes, but also as well, just that bit of experience in there as well with Tony Watt.
Nah, I don't see a world in which he starts. I think Partick Thistle will probably keep it very much the same as it is today. I think the boy that came off the bench, Sosa, I think he'll probably start because I thought he was good coming off the bench. But I don't think Wilson will make a lot of changes for that second leg because there's no real need. You know, I thought a lot of what they did tonight was very good. They just weren't clinical with the chances they had. And that'll be probably the only frustration for Wilson is they didn't take the chances in the first half that could have been really crucial. And he'll just probably go, listen, same again. You've worked really hard. You've done very well tonight. Let's go again. And you know you've got someone like Gary Mackay-Stephen who can come off the bench later on if you need him to. I mean, I think he's only played about, what was it they said, 6 games this season. I just don't see a world in which he starts. I'd be very surprised if he started.
Robbie, what about you? What kind of changes would you make to St Mirren? Because, I mean, I've kind of noted here that the first half, St Mirren went top possession-wise anyway, but the second half, most of the team went kind of missing. I don't know if that's a bit unfair for me to say that.
No, I think as I mentioned at the start of the show, it was very poor game management for McLeish. He didn't handle the Sosa change well at all, and it cost us in moments, to be fair. As Graham mentioned earlier, I'd start rolling Dodoro through the middle. I don't know how Phillips is doing, but I'd start him anyway, to be honest. He's turned into such a crucial player at this point in the season, something that I made a TikTok about and got a lot of criticism for, where I'd always saying they could be a player next season, and a lot of people disagreed, but I think he showed tonight what qualities he's got. I just wish he'd done it more consistently. I thought it was actually one of Jacob Devaney's worst games as a player, to be honest. I didn't think he done too much in the game to influence it not as much as I thought he was going to. But my main one would be Adowo, and to be honest, I'd put Luke Douglas in for the start as well, as Graham mentioned. I think Luke Douglas in there for the start, causing a bit on their defence. I don't think their defence is particularly quick either. So that would be my 2 changes. Maybe replacing the right wing back. I don't know if you start Richardson or McMenamin, because McMenamin's only just back for an injury. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't really rate Richard King tonight, to be honest. I thought he was very poor the times he got the ball. Really bad deliveries into the box, and something that with that amount of space he should be doing a lot better. So I'd maybe think about switching him out as well. But look, if he put out the same team, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I just think Roland Adowo's the must for Monday night. You've got to play him for the start.
Yeah, actually answer my question. I was going to ask you about Richard King. I thought he didn't have a particularly great game tonight, and of course that header back that let Alex Samuel get in, I just thought he was very rusty all night. And if I'm Partick Thistle, if he starts on Monday, which he might, I'd probably play on him because I thought he was a very weak link in St Mirren's side tonight.
It's so interesting because I actually preferred Richard King as a centre half, when he sort of played in the middle. But he just struggles to deal with so much out in that wing where it's, you notice it because Marcus Fraser then gets drafted out to go and help him, leaving a gap in the middle, and it just becomes a huge problem. So I'd probably drop Richard King. The problem that McLeish has is Richardson's one of these players that doesn't look too bothered. Like I spoke about Tanzer earlier, he looks like he knows he's making a move next season, which worries me because who do you then fling in? I mean, he can't formation switch because we've tried it and get absolutely pile drived off a Motherwell 5-1, so that's just not going to happen. But I don't know if you maybe play McMenamin for the start. I think it would be a bold decision, but I think the safe pick's maybe Jaden Richardson instead of Richard King. One player,
Yeah.
sorry, Michael, if I can just say quickly, one player that we've no mentioned, Alan Campbell, I thought he was superb. I mean, the energy that boy gives onto the pitch was phenomenal in the first half. Especially, I thought he gave absolutely everything to the team. I think he was probably the best at the three midfielders in the first half out of Devaney, him and Phillips. I thought he was by far the best in the midfield and somebody that I'd actually really like to keep on next season if possible.
Just don't let him shoot. He had a really poor effort. Manchester's really close the keeper down. It comes back to Campbell and he starts to chip him, and it's a terrible effort. Just don't let him shoot.
Don't let him shoot and don't let him get injured because he's like Donald. He's got legs made of Weetabix, man. So I don't need to keep him fragile until Monday.
By the way, there's nothing up with Weetabix, Robbie.
Maybe not a football player's legs, but
I mean, how crucial is Gogic's going to be in the second leg? I know we say about Phillips and O'Hara and King and all that. They're cooking as well, but I mean, I just feel as though when they played against Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, all the rest of the team, they kind of. He's up there for the fight, and he showed it tonight in parts of the game.
You know what? That's one of my favourite arguments for like Celtic and Rangers fans that he shows up in the big games. I'm like, no, you watch him in the big games. He showed up. I'm not joking. He's the only player I can name out of that team that showed up in every single game this season when he's been available and playing. He's the only one that puts in 100% effort week after week after week, and he does it consistently as well. There's probably times where the team are bad and he probably looks quite bad, but I can never fault that man for his effort. So on Monday, he's going to be so crucial to not just the back line, but he's going to be crucial past this season as well. If he does stay on, or if maybe Robinson drags him to Aberdeen, who knows? But I can tell you he's crucial in any team right now. I honestly think he's the one guy that I say could break into any team in this league without an absolute issue. I think he could play with all 12 teams in this division without a shadow of a doubt.
I'll tell you something about Gogic as well that I noticed a few times. He's actually a lot quicker than folk give him credit for, because there's a few times tonight, and I've seen it over the course of the season, there's a few times tonight that Samuel looked like he was going to get away from him, and Gogic was right there. He's not a slouch. Apart from the fact he's very aggressive, he's very strong, he's very commanding, he's actually not slow either. His recovery challenges are very impressive.
I don't want to tempt fate, Robbie, right? And you're one of the top guys on the show, apart from Graham. I've got to say that because Graham's here, and if he wasn't here, I wouldn't say that about Graham. But if St Mirren goes down, right, out of all the team, right, I think you would do everything on your power to tempt Gogic to stay at St Mirren, because that league is going to be very physical.
I'd just screw it and just give Gogic the ball every time in the Championship and just let him go and do what he wants, just see what happens. I remember against Dundee United last week, he just took the ball for, I'm not joking, he took it for our half, dribbled into Dundee United's area and just smacked it for about 30 yards and it nearly went in. I was like, aye, fair enough. I mean, he's just mental. He does literally whatever he wants on the pitch, and I love it. But if there's one player at that team that I'd nailed in for next season, it'd probably be Gogic. There's no many. I mean, Marcus Fraser as well. He gets a lot of criticism. I mean, I know my dad, for example, he really doesn't like Fraser, but I think he's such a workhorse. I think he just does the basics right. And that sort of allows Gogic to be a bit more adventurous in his game, which is good. And that's why I made the argument so much that he could fit into a Rangers or a Celtic or a Hearts or any of these teams, because you've got such a strong foundation at the clubs in the back that you could put Gogic in a holding midfielder role and just let him go and do what he wants, and it'd be phenomenal for every single team in the league. So he's one player, Michael, that's not just going to be influential on Monday, he's going to be influential for the next year or two, however long it stays.
He's one of these guys you hate playing against, but if it's in your team, you would absolutely love the guy.
Yeah. Aye. As a brother, Stephen Presley for Hearts, Graham, like back in the day when they used to play against Celtic, I know the rest of it. You knew that you were going to be in the game with Presley.
I thought I escaped his name for the season.
There's a lot of players like that when you're in your team you love them, but when you're against them you absolutely hate playing against them. And
I mean,
Alec Gogic was one of the players.
They used to be a guy. This is because they show my egg, Robbie Graham, but Graham might remember him as well because I think Graham's kind of older than me for about 10 years, I think. But I remember like Airdrie had a guy, like I was like 6'5", and I'm not kidding on. He was a big, massive guy, and I can't remember his name, Graham, but like he was a bit of a handful as well.
Andy Smith.
Right, okay, yeah.
Humble knowledge for Graham, man, honestly.
Yeah, knowledge is a bomb. That's why we've got you on the show, Graham, as well. But it's just, I mean, I would maybe caveat and say that if you stay up, you should keep Gogic as well because he's very important and he riles opposition players up.
I've just pinned Gogic to an unlimited year contract and just let him play as long as he wants because he's just phenomenal. Honestly, that guy, I think he could just play when he's 50, to be honest, and I wouldn't mind it. If he just showed up to this Miser when he's 50-year-old, slap him at the back, and you know what, I'll be happy with that. I seriously think that guy will be St Mirren manager one day. I think he will go into coaching, and I think he'll be phenomenal at it as well. He's just got everything you can need. He's got every bit of quality, and I think the most mental thing about it is how nice a guy he is off the pitch. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen him speaking to people or spoke to him yourselves, but he's just so nice. He couldn't be nicer, and it makes you think he must just have a wee switch that he just turns on when he walks onto the pitch, and he just turns into a completely different character. But he's the prime example of just a sound guy in football and a guy that you'd want in your team, and that's why the likes of Ryan's got him tattooed on his leg, because just what a legend there is.
I believe that you've got some quotes from the managers, Robbie, from tonight's game.
I do. So, first of all, for Partick's manager, Mark Wilson, he said, stressful this management job, isn't it? He jokes. He said, I thought we'd go on top of the game in the second half and we could have nicked another one at the end. When I'm making changes at half time, it suggests I've got it wrong in the first half and it's not worked. It's much more on me than the players. We just needed to show up in the midfield. I thought they actually done that quite well. Then he goes on to say, I felt more secure in and out of possession in the second half, and we can take a lot of confidence from my first and second half performances. It gives me something to think about. We're patched up, but we gave a good account of ourselves.
Is there no quote from the laddie Macbeth that plays for Partick Thistle?
Oh, Michael's camera disappeared. What, that is some timing on that, by the way.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't because of that, maybe.
But no, then they obviously speak to Craig McLeish, the camera's off again. McLeish says, a bit of a game of two halves. I felt in the first half we carried out our game plan pretty well, sustained pressure, a lot of corners, and we created some chances, maybe nothing too clear cut other than the goal. We were under a bit of pressure second half, then once the tie, it opens back up again. We know what's at stake, we're not behind in the tie, especially the second half. We have to be better than that, and we can be better than that, so that is the focus now for Monday. So Graham, I mean, Wilson taking a much more, I'd say, relaxed sort of confidence for the performance. McLeish a bit more, you know, we need to be better in the second leg. I mean, I think that's probably understandable because Partick Thistle don't have any really, what would I say, they don't have any pressure on them.
Yeah, we said it before the game. All the pressure's on St Mirren. You know, that's where I think there's probably a better draw for St Mirren than it is for Partick. But it's going to be, I mean, I think McLeish is actually pretty spot on in what he said. You know, I do think they have to be better, especially in possession. I thought, especially second half, I don't really think St Mirren had any control in midfield at all. I thought it was very rushed, which, again, understandably so in a big game like that. But I think if you're Mark Wilson, I mean, I love that quote right at the start, this management stuff was stressful. I think fair play to him for that. In a big game like that, give out that comment is pretty impressive. So, yeah, I mean, there's pressure on both managers, of course there is. But the pressure is more intensified on St Mirren because they want to stay in this league. Partick, yes, want to come up, but the pressure is really on St Mirren. And that game on Monday is going to be, I thought you could sense at times tonight the tension in the stands. And I think that will just be even worse on Monday, especially for St Mirren fans, if it doesn't go your way.
You'll see me sitting munching a mac and cheese pie, trying to keep my composure at 5 minutes to kick off. Honestly, I don't. Right now, I don't even want to imagine what I'm going to be like sitting in that stadium on Monday before kick off, because I'm already nervous about it. Never mind actually being there. I mean, I unfortunately didn't make the 2021 or 2020 playoffs against Dundee United, so this is my sort of first taste of relegation playoffs, and I'm absolutely dreading it already.
Do you think Craig McLeish will be the happier manager, Robbie? Because I'll tell you why. One, it's away from home, and basically St Mirren's got the advantage of. I think it's going to be a full house on Monday night, and you're playing at St Mirren Park as well. Sorry, the Smythe or Skiggham. So I think you've got the small advantage there.
Don't worry, Michael, I still call it Love Street sometimes. No, McLeish's press conference didn't sound better than happy, to be honest. I think he is, in terms of what you said, in terms of it being at home, behind our crowd, under the lights at our stadium. But Mark Wilson actually seems a lot calmer than McLeish does, and that's something that probably comes with a bit more experience. You know, Mark has managed to get that bit of experience of the season and take that into the playoffs, whereas I feel McLeish is just lacking that bit of a calm head at times. I said that before the show as well. Some of the press conferences, Michael, you've watched most of them, you can feel the emotion coming out of Craig McLeish, and that's probably something that he'll develop over time and he'll get better with the sort of more games he manages. I mean, I hope after this, and I hope if it isn't to be us, I hope he doesn't get up, because I think he does have a lot of good managerial traits. But right now, Mark Wilson seems a much calmer head, and that's something that Partick fans are going to be happy with going into Monday, like Mr. Partick Thistle, who I'm sure had a lovely time at the game.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think he'll be eating a pie with Matt Wilson or wine and was it this eating Mary Hill? Yeah, never mind. Yeah, so I don't know if he's even going to the game on Monday night as well. So that's good. Is he?
Aye.
Yeah.
We Mr. Partick Thistle's actually turning up for both legs.
He's invited to hospitality for that game, but
Him and
yeah,
John. Him and John.
Yeah,
best pals.
yeah. KFC banged the stadium, so they can go for the game at time. But Graham, Partick Thistle, I mean, I thought they handled themselves well in the game, but we haven't spoke about the atmosphere tonight. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant by both sets of fans.
Yeah, I thought it was great. You know, I thought both sets of fans turned out for their teams, especially behind the goal that Partick was shooting in the first half. I thought it was fantastic, the atmosphere. You know, bouncing up and down, Partick Thistle, boing. But I thought the atmosphere was great. And I think it'll be even better on Monday. You know, like I said, the tension is going to be unbearable for both teams. But I mean, I've always liked Firhill. I've been there a few times before, and it's a cracking stadium, got a very good support there. And for them, I'd love to see them in the Premiership. I think it would be great, finally, to see them in the Premier League. But yeah, the atmosphere tonight was just absolutely fantastic. And they'll probably, a lot of the fans will maybe go away a bit frustrated that they've not managed to get a lead to take to St Mirren Park. But Monday's going to be so enthralling. I mean, we knew this game wasn't going to be done tonight. It was always going to be set up for Monday night. And it's going to be so fascinating to see what happens on that game.
Don't. Just don't, man, honestly. I can't take it. But
you've got all
week right
on this as well.
Oh no, that walk to the stadium on Monday night, that's going to be absolutely horrific. I just can somebody carry me in or something, like I'm going to need it. But
just sit on Reagan's lap in his wheelchair.
No, I can't. He would already been in the stadium by that point with Craig McLeish.
There's two things I could say to that, Graham, but I
can't. No, look, the atmosphere's going to be phenomenal on Monday night. It really is, and it's both clubs fighting for their future. I mean, look, how many times are Partick going to get this close and no do it? But see if Partick don't do it this time, what is it going to do for the confidence? I mean, how many times are you going to try and get up? And Corey, that's absolutely enough of that for you, mate. Just how many times are Partick Thistle going to be the nail of the club before they just the mentality fades. There's only so many times you can be that in the early club before it just starts taking effect on you, and you feel like it. I don't want to speak out of term for us, but I think a lot of other fans, and I don't know what you're thinking, Graham. I think a lot of fans for different clubs are thinking maybe this is Partick's time because how many times they've been close, and as David mentioned earlier, they've been to the quarters lost, and then one been to the semis lost, one been to the finals lost. I feel like this is the last piece for Partick fans if you're looking for an outsider's point of view.
You kind of think law of average at some point they have to come up. Obviously not the expense of your lot, but you've got to assume at some point it's going to happen for them and things are going to change. It's like they always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It's one of these stories that you just think, surely they're actually going to come up. And yeah, I mean, I think if they don't come up this time, it might knock the conference. But then again, I think you've got to have that belief that you can go again next season where Wilson is still in charge. They'll always probably strengthen in the summer. I know they'll lose a few players as well, but you've just got to try and go again. And this time try and actually win the league rather than be in the playoff again. But I said it earlier, the Championship is such a tough league to get out of. It's one of the most competitive in Scotland. I've said that for a long, long time. So it would be great for Partick to come up. But do you know what? If they don't, I just think they'll have to go again. That's all they can do.
I will just say now, by the way, in case I don't say it on Monday, because I will probably be on the show after it. No matter what happens, by the way, I'm not going to be one of these that lose and go in and just go into hiding for a few months. I'm not that guy. But,
you heard this, by the way, right? So if they get beat, I'll be spraying the phone. Where are you?
Maybe run a few minutes late getting back to the stadium. I'll be sitting in tears.
Okay.
Lad, I'll be captured on the Sky camera, sitting greeting, having a breakdown in the stadium if we get relegated. But thank you. But no, like seriously, if it is to be officials' time on Monday, then full congrats to them now, because I'm not going to have the courage to say that on Monday night. I know I'm not, because I'm just going to be saying, let's get into them and let's get them battered. So if it is to be Mark Wilson's time, which they'd very much deserve it for what has been a really competitive championship season, by the way, by them, like they pushed St Johnstone right to the end. So if it is to be Mark Wilson's time, then they deserve all the credit because they've been phenomenal all season. The attendances, the crowd has been phenomenal, and they've built some team, by the way, to take into the Premiership if it is to be them.
Graham, this is not a politics show, right? But Robbie's basically said what Anna Sawa said last week at the election at 2:30 in the afternoon before all the counts won. He said, yeah, well, the SNP deserves to be in. And there was only 2 counts in. And Robbie basically said, yeah, so if they do come up, well done. So basically what he's saying is, yeah, they're going to come up and we are going to go down. But Robbie's still coming on the show on Monday.
I've been thinking we've been going down for weeks, Michael. That's just the new information. I've been saying we're going down for ages, but
I do think it goes back to the managing change, like Stephen Robertson. Sorry to go on like a broken record here, but all right, maybe if Robertson was still here, right, they would have still been in this playoffs, right? But they would have a better chance in staying up than a manager that's just come in from the under-19s. I don't know if
I don't. You're right, but I also don't blame Robinson for the fact McLeish is in the dugout right now, because you can't, because it wasn't his decision. You know, we when Robinson left, we had an international break to sort of manage it, and instead of going out and actually hiring somebody, we hired an under-19s coach that the players wanted. To me, that's no Robinson's fault. That's the players on the board. The board have got to take a stamp on this sort of thing and go, no, we're going to go for a bit of authority. We're going to go for a bit of experience in this time when we were struggling before Robinson left. So I fully get what you're saying, Michael, and it was such a bad time for Robinson to leave the club, and I wish he didn't, and I wish he stayed to the end. But I definitely don't blame him for McLeish being in the dugout tonight, because it's no his choice, and the board should have been a lot more prepared.
Hold on, that's John Needham coming. What? You're not coming. What? Oh,
listen, I've praised John and the board for a lot of things they've done over the years, but that they should never have put an under-19s coach in charge. It was such a poor decision, and yes, I'm sure John and Keith's argument would be, well, the players wanted him, and I get that, but he's so inexperienced in such a tough situation for any by the way, I would have said the same if Tony Docherty was here. Any manager, it's a tough situation to navigate yourself out of. Never mind a manager that's barely had any experience in this.
But would you take the? I know we're talking hypothetical and all the rest of it, but would you take Craig McLeish for 2 games and then get a manager until the end of the season? I know I said this early on, but I like to repeat myself a few times.
What do you mean if we were safe? Like, how do you mean?
No. What I mean is, so Robertson left. I think it was 9 games to go, right? So
Yeah.
if they were looking for a manager, Craig McLeish would kick the reins for like 3 games.
What, and would that include the playoffs?
No, because at that time you won the certain that you were going to be in the playoffs. So maybe what I'm saying is 1 game maybe before the semi-final against Celtic. Or am I being a bit unfair here? But yeah.
I just wouldn't have taken McLeish at all. To be honest, if I was making the choice, I would never have hired somebody like that. I think what other clubs even around us have done, you look at Bartley at Livingston, you even take Livingston into account, and I know you get them relegated, but Bartley's at least had some experience managing and a club. And that's trying to be as fair as possible on McLeish, because let's be honest, under the circumstances and under his experience, he has done a good job. Like he has, although he's the reason we're 11th, and a few of his decisions have probably been questioned of the way he plays. He has overall done a better job than a lot of under 19 coaches would in this situation. Should they ever been put in it in the first place? Probably not. But if he keeps us up next Monday, then you know what? Absolute full credit to him, because he deserves it.
Okay, that's my rant over about that one. Graham, any rants? And
No.
in fact, no, we won't go there. We've only got 15 minutes left on the show, as well. But yeah, I think I do know what rant you're on about, as well. But no, I mean, I don't know if I'm being a bit unfair there, Graham, but you see where I'm coming from, no?
I do, and I think Robbie's right about you can't really blame Robertson for who's in the dugout, but I do think that in the position that St Mirren were in, because they were in and around that playoff after Robertson left, it did need experience. It didn't need an inexperienced under-19s coach. And as I said in the preview show, for the first couple of games, it was fine. It did okay. But there's always going to be that moment where you think it's going to turn at some point, and it has turned. It needed experience. It needed somebody in there that's got the experience of getting out of this position. I mean, Craig Levein was available, just saying. But I think if McLeish does keep St Mirren up, then, as Robbie said, fair play to him. I don't think he'll get the gig full time, whatever happens. But it's such, again, I kind of wonder, and again, I don't know this, but did the St Mirren players want McLeish in charge because they thought he would go easier on them, maybe Robinson would? Did they think it was going to be easy pickings with Craig McLeish in charge? I don't know that, but it needed experience. But if he gets him out of it, then fair play.
If I wanted to watch Craig Levein, mate, I would have went back and watched the 2012 qualifiers and watched some 4-6 ball, because no, they're definitely not. But I can tell you the new, Graham, and I can quote this directly for Keith Lasley. The players wanted Craig McLeish in charge. That was the players' choice. He said that publicly. So, although, and I'm all led to believe for what John said, there was a process put in place for the start of the season in case Robinson left, because let's be honest, it was a possibility this was always going to be his last season at the club. But this was very much them coming out and them publicly telling us the players wanted Craig McLeish to be in charge, which for me takes a lot of bottle for the board to get on board with it. But
Yeah.
it's just a bonkers situation. But look, I want to be the guy that's coming on this show on Monday night and going, well, that under-19s coach kept us up. He's made sure we're playing Premiership football next season, because I'd absolutely love it if I was on saying that. And I don't want it to seem like I'm going after Craig McLeish, but because it's not his fault. Again, he shouldn't be in this situation. But a few of his decision makings, and you'd think that's why he probably had Stuart Taylor in there to help him, because in the situations where he maybe needs to handle game management a bit better, that's when the experience of Taylor comes in. That's obviously no really happened so far, but I'd love nothing more than McLeish to keep us up. It'd be so good for him.
And that's from the Packet Thistle view, Graham. I know that we spoke about this when I interviewed David on the show, but I mean, Matt Wilson and Alex Ray, what a job that they're doing at the moment. Obviously, Matt Wilson had got a wee test last season with Brian Graham. Now he's a bit Falkirk, but he's in there with Robbie's pal, Alex Ray.
Don't.
Yeah, and it's been a fantastic job they've done. And this is why they just need to get over the line now. It'll be a real feather in Mark Wilson's cap and Elliot Ray to actually finally get Partick Thistle promoted to the Premier League after all that time. And again, I think tonight they worked so hard. They fought for every ball. They never gave up, even at 1-0 down. They could have thought this was just getting away from us, but they kept going and kept going. And that says a lot about Mark Wilson and the team that he's got there. These players go to the last minute. Like I said, I think there'll be a frustration that they've not taken the chances of in the first half, because it could have been very different. But they'll go to Paisley, know what they've got to do. I don't think they'll change the way they play. They will still go for it. And if, Robbie talked about the first goal, if Partick could get that first goal, that could be massive. And you just wonder how St Mirren would react to that. But the job that Mark Wilson and Al Ray have done, I said in the preview show, for the guy to basically not even be in the shortlist and then get the job, I think speaks volumes for him, because he could have easily said, "No, I'm not going to take it," but he's taken it, done a fantastic job. And if he can get Partick Thistle over the line and get them up, that would be absolutely fantastic. And his stock will raise from that. If you get promoted, your stock's going to go higher and higher, and other teams will come and look at you. So yeah, it's a big 90 minutes for Wilson, for Alec Ray, for St Mirren. And even though Robbie's not looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to Monday already. I think this could be a really, really... I actually have a feeling... I think this could go to the penalties, by the way. I genuinely do.
Don't. You know what it is for me? It's the ultimate prospect that Alex Ray being the assistant manager that sends us into the Championship. That would utterly terrify me if that happened. But I agree with you, Graham. I think penalties could be a realistic.
Am I not right, guys? Or somebody could correct me in the chat if I'm totally wrong. But am I not right in saying the last penalty shootout in the playoffs was Packet Thistle against Ross County?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we know what I'm that day. But I mean,
well, the last time someone played in the playoffs was a penalty shootout as well against Dundee United.
I mean, talk to me about Packet Thistle, Glenn, because obviously it's a massive game for both clubs for two different reasons, right? But for Packet Thistle, this is the fifth playoff final, right, and never been successful in any of them, right? And if they get beaten this one, how much will that take out their confidence going into mid-season?
I think if it was the first time they'd done it, it might have maybe dented it a little bit, because I think because they've been in it that many times, they're kind of used to it now. They know that they'll just go again. But again, I think it may, obviously it'll fester over the summer, the fact they've not quite managed to get up. But again, they've got themselves in that position. And this is why I think this two-legged playoff thing is an absolute joke. Because they've now got to go away to St Mirren, try and get a result rather than get it done on one night. But I think for Partick, all they can do is just go out there and give it their best shot like they did tonight. And if they get chances, which they will, they've got to be clinical, because that's what they weren't tonight. They had chances to really have a go at St Mirren there and just didn't take them. They've got to take their chances on Monday night. And I just think, the first goal, yes, it could be really important. If it's an early goal for one team, it could be a massive, massive occasion. But I don't think it's going to be one of these games that's going to be an open attacking game. I think it might be cagey to start with. But if one team can take control, St Mirren, you would think at home, need to dominate the ball. I said to Robbie earlier on, I don't think St Mirren got to grips with that midfield second half. They never really dominated the game. They've got to do better with that on Monday. Kind of like Craig McLeish said in his interview. They've got to do better in moments in the game. But Partick will just go out there, again, give it their best shot. And if they get chances, they've got to take them. But I'm really intrigued again to watch that battle between Alex Samuel and Gogic, because I thought that was quite interesting, Eric.
Aye, fair play to Alex Samuel and his Olympic diving, grippy, slippy Tony Watt socks that he had on the night. It's really put them to good use sometimes. I thought he was diving all about the place, but that's just one man's opinion. Can't wait to watch the grippy socks up in person on Monday night. That'll be fascinating, I'm sure. Sure, the groundsman will extra water the pitch just in case. But no, look, it's such an intriguing game that the rest of Scottish football, if you're not a Partick Thistle or St Mirren fan, is really looking forward to it. If you're a Partick Thistle fans are probably excited for it. If you're a St Mirren fan, you're absolutely dreading it. I think I would, as I told you guys, I would have taken a one each before the game, knowing how it went. I told you also that St Mirren had to show up, and I didn't think we showed up the way we could. And that's going to be the big thing on Monday. Can we show up when we really need to? Can we get it over the line? And if we don't, then this summer's going to be mental, like probably one of the craziest summers for me watching something.
What's really good tonight as well is we've managed to go 55 minutes and not one person's complained about the referee or VAR. What a night.
No, I VAR'd in the day end, and I actually thought the referee was quite good. And by the way, I should just say, to caveat that by saying, I hope on Monday, the last thing I want to happen is Partick Thistle to go up or down for a VAR decision and us to go up or down by a sliding, Partick to slide and us to go up or down by a VAR decision. Like, I don't want that to happen for either team, so I hope it's the same on Monday night. I just hope the referees play that way again, because I actually quite enjoyed it, and I didn't think, I thought at the start it was maybe a bit whistle heavy. But as they get into the game, I mean, it was fine. It didn't do hit and rang, to be honest, but I'm more cautious that it has missed a brother beating on VAR, so that'll be an interesting watch on Monday night.
I think he was trying to let the game flow because he knows there's going to be tackles going on. It's a big game. I think he was trying to let the game flow, and I think, to be fair, I don't credit referees a lot, but I think he actually did. I think he did do that reasonably well tonight.
I didn't do much wrong, to be fair. I just hope that trend continues into Monday night as well, because I know a lot of people say, oh, you're just saying that so St Mirren don't get shafted by VAR, but I really hope Partick Thistle don't either. Like, it's happened to them at our stadium once this season. I hope it's just a fair game all round, because as much as I'd enjoy staying up if it was to be to a dodgy VAR decision, I'd hate it for Partick Thistle, and I'd hate the same to happen to us as well if we were to get relegated. So I hope no matter what happens, the referees it's a good refereeing game on Monday night as well.
Don't worry, if there's a poor VAR decision, Willie Collum will come into his review and apologise.
Oh, I can't wait to get an apology when 9 players leave, 3 loans are cut short. We're looking for a manager, Paul Highland, Marvin Bartley on Tuesday night or something like that. It's buzzing.
Willie, sorry, Colin. That's what I call him now.
Can't wait for the apology letter for the championship. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, but it's going to be a cracking atmosphere as well on Monday night. I know, because the Smiler Stadium, I love taking me back to the 90s there, Robbie. It's because it's a brilliant stadium, St Mirren, and I think it's no disrespect to the St Mirren fans, but it's a wee stadium, right? But I think that's what makes it different from all the other stadiums, if you know what I mean. It's very kind of intimate. I can say that word because it's 11 o'clock. Can get away with most things anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a very tight park as well.
It'll be nervy. It'll be very nervy atmosphere. I'd expect that, as most times we're on the telly, you're probably going to hear a lot of the Mainstone shouters come out.
That guy's no there.
And in Scottish football, by the way.
Aye, and I sit right in it as well, so you're going to hear me shout at some point as well during the match, probably, because I do get a bit aggressive at the football these days. But no, I think it'll be a good atmosphere, Michael, but I think you'll notice the first sort of 15 minutes it will be so nervy between both sets of fans, because Partick have tried this so many times as my assistant managers decided to come to life a wee bit there behind me. But it's going to be some.
He's talking about his cat, Graham.
My cat Mirren behind me.
Yeah.
She's came to life. But it's going to be some.
There are so many ways I could have gone with that.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm the same. Yeah. That's it. I'm surprised you haven't came out with a WWF phrase from The Rock. You smell what The Rock is cooking or something back in the day.
Just quickly,
Yeah.
Mike, I know we're getting to that 11 o'clock stage, and I've probably got to get to bed for work. But
On Monday night.
I know. But no, on Monday night it's going to be some atmosphere. And I think the worst of it is Graham will know exactly how I feel because we done this to him a matter of a few years ago. You'll know what it's like, that feeling of getting relegated, Graham. And obviously it happened back then in really extraordinary circumstances. With the way it sort of happened, but you know the gut feeling at playing Championship football. It's no something that a lot of fan bases ever really think about until it happens. But I mean, if we are to go down, I will be as deflated as you'll probably ever see me, and I'm sure you were the same many years ago as well.
I have so many reasons to want St Mirren relegated.
Is John Obika at the top of the list by any chance?
Well, he's one of them, but also that 2013 League Cup final that's still happening today.
Oh, what a game, man!
There you go. I think we'll leave it there. Yeah, so it's been a busy old show tonight. That's good, Graham Duffy. That's good, Robbie Collins. He's away to his bed now till Monday at 10 o'clock. As well, he's going to miss the game at this rate. Thanks for all your comments, and we'll do it all again. Final score again. Packet 51, St Mirren 1. We'll be back tomorrow to build up to the small matter of the Scottish Cup final between Celtic and Dunfermline, and then we'll be back on Monday to do it all over again. As Robbie will be somewhere, I don't know, in the helicopter somewhere. St Mirren takes on Packet Thistle. So that's good, Graham. That's good, Robbie. That's got all your comments, and we'll see you tomorrow live at 5.
Scottish Premiership Play-offs final.